The following program is brought to you by Naleo TV, the people's platform.
Hi, and welcome back to another episode of Mind, Body Kona. I'm Sarah Bergeron. I will be your host. And today we're going to be going through some accessible yoga postures that are easy for anyone to do at home. We're going to start with some breath work to really balance the body and calm that nervous system down. And then we're going to get our bodies moving. So let's go ahead and get started. To get started, we're going to start off with some box breathing. This is an amazing technique because it's able to be accessed at any time, anywhere, and it's going to help calm your nervous system. So we're going to go ahead and just teach you how to do the breath first, and then we'll do a couple of them together. So first, you're going to start off by getting into a comfortable position, whether that be seated or standing. You're going to start to maybe close the eyes down or just soften the gaze towards the tip of the nose. And then you're going to take a nice, big, deep inhale through the nose, holding, bringing that for a 4-second breath. So big inhale. And then we're going to hold that at the top for 4 seconds, holding that oxygen in, permeating those cells, giving your cells a little oxygen makeover here for 4 seconds. And then you're going to exhale that breath all the way out, squeezing every ounce of oxygen out of the belly with those ab muscles. And then holding that breath empty for another 4 seconds. Once you've completed all 4 of those rounds, you've completed 1 full round of box breathing. So let's go ahead and do it together. So once again, get into your comfortable position. Maybe close the eyes. And then take that big, deep inhale through your nose. Hold that breath. Exhale through the nose. Hold that breath once more. Start that inhale once more. Big inhale. And hold. Big exhale. Hold. One more round. Inhale, breathe it in. Hold. Exhale, breathe it out. Hold. And now that we've completed our first round of box breathing, let's go ahead and move the spine a little bit. So continuing with breaths in and out of the nose, we're going to bring that ear towards one shoulder and then slowly bringing that across the front of the body and then allowing the head to fall back here. Maybe we try to relax into this a little bit more with each round, each breath, really opening the spine. And then let's go ahead, taking it to the other direction here, being gentle with ourselves, listening to the body here. If you have any injuries with your neck, I would advise maybe taking this even lighter or maybe just not doing this at all. And then slowly coming back to center, we're going to take some seated cat-cows here to get into that upper thoracic spine. So we're going to big inhale again through the nose, open those elbows, drop the head to come back. And then exhale, bringing the arms to come forward. Chin's gonna round here towards the belly. A few more rounds. Inhale, open it up. Exhale, close. Exaggerate these movements. Listen to the body. Inhale once more. And exhale. And now we're going to be moving on to some light stretching. For our first movement posture, we're going to come into a half moon pose. So we're going to come up to standing, bring your feet to touch here. Roll those shoulder blades down and back to create a nice, tall, long spine here. You're going to inhale the arms to come up over the head here. Bringing the hands to interlace, you're going to allow the pointer fingers to come out. And then maybe you want to even bend the arms to come back to straighten them up even taller, maybe even coming behind the ears here. So once you've gotten into this position, you're going to get even taller. So squeeze those thighs off those kneecaps, engage your core. Take one more big, deep inhale through the nose, and let's maybe grow one more inch. And then we're going to take a big exhale, coming over to the right side first. So trying to keep the body nice and straight here as if we're in between two panes of glass. Gaze is slightly up towards the ceiling under that armpit. And then maybe we just stay here today. Maybe this is our half moon. Or if you want to go a little bit deeper in this posture, you really need to use your breath. So every time you inhale, maybe you get a little bit taller. And every time you exhale, maybe you come out into that hip a little bit deeper. So like a clock, every time we take a breath here, inhaling, and we exhale, maybe coming over a little bit more. Coming into this breath 2 more times. 1 more. You'll really feel this coming out of the hip here. Beautiful. And then slowly we're going to inhale, coming all the way back to standing. If you can, keep your arms up. Otherwise, feel free to shake them out whenever you need to. Once again, we're going to go into that other side. So we're going to inhale up nice and tall. Get those arms maybe behind the ears. And then exhale, coming over to that other side. Once again, keep that body nice and straight as if we're coming between 2 panes of glass. Gaze is slightly up towards the ceiling here. Every time we inhale, we get a little taller. And every time we exhale, we go a little deeper. A few more rounds of breath here. Taking this nice and slow. Really feeling that opening in the body. And then taking our big inhale as we come up. And pausing here. Maybe we keep our arms up if we want to work those arms. Otherwise, feel free to shake them out and come right back in. So keeping the arms up nice and tall. We'll inhale to get tall 1 more time as we drop our head slightly to come back. Turning here so you can see. So my head is coming back, body is nice and straight. And we're going to inhale, lifting, and exhale as if we're coming over a beach ball. Not dumping into the low back, squeezing into those glute muscles. Your back bend can be this small, or maybe we come all the way back. And then slowly exhaling as we come forward. Let's go ahead and separate the feet here as you come forward, and then slightly bend into the knees. We're gonna release our low back here, coming through a forward fold. So nice and slow, let the hands be free. Let the head fall forward. Maybe even feet come as wide as the mat here. Grab opposite elbow and just shake it out. Shake out the head, shake out the body. Deep breaths here. And then slowly starting to rise, 1 vertebrae at a time. Coming back to standing in our mountain pose, and then we're gonna move on to our next postures. Continuing with a couple more standing postures, we're going to show you guys how to do a tree pose. This is one of my absolute favorite postures for getting our spine nice and tall and stretched out, and also practicing our balance. Balance is so great to practice because it actually works your brain. So let's go ahead, shift our weight into our right leg, and I'm gonna show you a couple of variations here. So feel free to have your foot at the ankle, the calf, or the inside of the knee joint, or the inside of the thigh. So we want to avoid the knee joint at all costs here because that can injure the body. So let's go ahead, bring that foot onto the body where it feels comfortable for you. You're going to squeeze the glutes when you're in this position. It will severely help with your balance. And then also finding a drishti point, which in yoga is a point to focus on. So you're gonna find anything on the wall or floor in front of you, focus on that point, and then start to take some nice deep breaths, squeezing all the muscles in that thigh, squeezing into those glutes, and then really reaching that crown of the head towards the ceiling here. So we're gonna go ahead, bring our hands home to our heart, start taking some nice deep breaths here. Again, find your drishti point, your focus spot, focus there, and breathe. Big breaths in and out of the nose. Maybe each breath you get a little bit taller. Maybe you grow your tree and shift that gaze, testing our balance here. Maybe our tree even gets caught in a storm and we move our branches and just see how that feels in the body. And then slowly exhaling those hands to come back home to our heart, bringing that knee to come forward and allowing that foot to rest. We're gonna go ahead and do that other side. I'll show you another variation on this side. So putting that weight into that left leg, again, you can put the foot at the calf if you need a little extra balance, or bring it all the way up to that inner thigh here. So make sure we avoid that knee joint, squeeze into those glutes, find your focus point, and then bringing those hands home to our heart here. Breathing in and out of the nose. Just a few breaths here. Deep inhales and exhales. And then maybe we grow our tree once more. Extending those branches, shifting that gaze, challenging that balance. It's okay to wobble, even I do. And maybe we get caught in a storm and test our balance even more. And then bringing hands to come home back to that heart. Again, make sure to bring that knee to come forward to release. We don't do any funny things to our knees here. Always wanting to protect the body. And now we're gonna go into a figure 4 pose to stretch it all out. So let's go ahead, once again, shift the weight into the left leg, and then we're going to pick up the right leg here, bringing the ankle to come to the knee. And then we're going to slowly bend into that knee. So you're gonna wanna press your hand to come into the thigh, and then maybe even grab the ankle for some extra balance support. Once again, this is a balancing posture, so maybe find a point to focus on, and then feel free to roll out the ankles here. And then the further you can sit back, the more you're gonna stretch into that thigh and that glute. So this is a great stretch for after all this movement. So let's go ahead, doing that other side. Once again, coming into that balancing pose on that leg, engaging that quad, bringing the ankle across that knee, and then just sitting on back as we press into the knee, grabbing ankle for support and balance, and roll it out. Big breaths here. This is gonna be an awesome glute stretch, an awesome thigh stretch. So anytime you're doing those leg series, this is the one to do after. And then coming on up, we're gonna be moving on to some floor series here. Now coming down to our mat, we're gonna do a couple of seated postures here. So these are going to help open the hips and also just stretch the hamstrings. So we're gonna come into some separate leg stretching here. So bringing the legs to come into a straddle. Your straddle might be like this today, and that is totally okay. This is going to be a progressive posture over time. Maybe eventually you get a little bit wider. So working towards opening the legs as much as you can. So coming back into the center here, we're gonna inhale, reaching the arms to come up towards the sky. And then we're gonna turn the body to come towards that leg before we start to bring that chest down. So squaring the body to come towards this leg here. Maybe we grab shin today, maybe we grab ankle. It's totally up to you, and honestly, a progressive posture. So as you get into this and as you do this more, you're gonna surprise yourself at how quickly you can get into this deeply. So once again, using biceps to maybe pull and bring the forehead to come towards the knee. Pausing here for just a few breaths. Always using our breath in these postures. Breath is going to help you get to that next level. So on those exhales, maybe we pull down a little bit deeper each time. And then slowly starting to rise, coming to that other side. Once again, inhale, get nice and tall before you turn that body to come towards that leg and starting to come down. Squaring off, pulling maybe, or maybe we're being nice and gentle today and we're up here. Listening to the body, progressing through, maybe dropping forehead, and then breathing here. Big inhales and exhales through the nose. Like I said, use those exhales to get deeper into the posture. And then slowly starting to rise. We're going to do a forward fold next. So bringing the legs to come together, getting our sit bones nice and hugged into the floor, reaching spine to be nice and tall here. And then inhaling once again up. And then exhaling, trying to bring the chest to come down towards the thighs here. So maybe the knees are slightly bent, or maybe we challenge ourselves and try to keep them completely straight this entire time. Bringing hands maybe on the shins, maybe on the ankles, or maybe they're on the feet today. Using biceps to pull the body down. So we really want to get these digestive organs pressed into the thighs as much as you can. You're actually going to help your digestive tract. So breathing and coming down. And then maybe you drop the forehead. Once again, using breath to get deeper into our postures always. Big breaths in and out of the nose. One more big breath. And then slowly starting to rise. We're going to just hug our knees in here, rounding the spine, giving ourselves some love, which is always necessary. And then maybe even dropping the forehead to come to the knees for a couple of breaths, really feeling that spine rounding all the way from the crown of the head. 2 breaths here. And then we're going to move on to a couple more postures and then get into some breath work. Coming out of our nice little hug here, we're going to come down onto the back. So I'm gonna face you guys just so you can see what I'm doing. So slowly starting to lower our way back, maybe engaging that core and those abs. And then we're going to bring the arms to come to a T, lifting the knees, and then dropping both the knees over to the right side. We're gonna take the hand, grip on here, and then gazing away from the body. So we're coming into a nice simple twist here. Breathing nice and deep with every exhale, maybe we pull our body a little bit deeper into this twist. Taking a few breaths right here. Big inhales and exhales through the nose. Every exhale, like I said, maybe we're pulling a little bit deeper into the posture. One more big breath right here. And then slowly inhaling those knees to come back up to center, and then exhaling them down to that other side. Like I said, maybe we're gripping the knees here. We're shifting the gaze to come away from the body. And every time we exhale, maybe we're slightly pulling on the legs. Big inhales and exhales here. Each time coming a little bit deeper, opening that spine. And slowly starting to release that hand, inhaling the knees to come back up once more, and then giving ourselves a nice hug here. I'll turn so you guys can see, bringing hands to come all the way up to opposite elbow here, maybe lifting the head and then slowly lowering it back down, flattening the whole spine on the mat, really just pulling on that exhale. So big inhale. Big exhale, flattening full spine on the mat here. And then we're gonna slowly start to release those legs, bringing the feet to come mat width distance here, dropping one knee and then the other, just windshield wipering out that lower back here, opening up. And then we're gonna move into a couple of postures on our back here. So bringing the feet closer to the bottom than normal, pressing the weight into the heels here, bringing the hands to come onto the floor. We're gonna inhale, lifting, maybe even bringing the feet slightly closer, pressing into the heels as much as we can. Chin is hugging into the chest here. And then we're gonna bring our hands under the body, clasp those fingers, and then walk your way onto your shoulders if you can, pressing even deeper into this bridge posture. Big inhales and exhales. This is gonna open our hips. This is going to stretch our spine. And then slowly starting to release here. So another posture that's amazing for the hips is we're gonna come into a supported bridge. So grabbing a block or even a pillow that you have at home, you can do this with. So once again, lifting the hips, and then you can also do this on any setting. It could be on the low setting, the high setting, or the highest setting. So sliding this under and making sure that it's right at the base of the spine here. And then bringing the arms to come to rest, and then maybe even extending the legs to come long. This posture is extremely relaxing, and it's going to be opening our hips, working out that fascia, working on any of those emotions that we have stored in our body here. So this is an amazing resting posture. So breathing here for just a few breaths. And then maybe you even adjust the height of your block while you're in this to come a little bit deeper. Few breaths. In this posture, feel free to stay in this as long as it feels comfortable in your body. And then another great transition for this is going to be waterfall. So we're going to just simply lift our legs to come towards the sky, maybe scooting our block out slightly so it helps support the legs to stay up. But this posture is so good for stress and anxiety. You can just throw your legs up the side of your bed, your refrigerator, anywhere in your house. So this is commonly called legs up the wall or waterfall in yoga. But you're going to feel the blood exchange happening from the feet into the legs. Maybe you'll feel slight pumping at the ankles, but this is good. This means that you are getting fresh oxygen into the feet, and something that we kind of neglect on a regular basis. So I highly recommend adding this into your posture. And for the ladies, this can actually help get rid of the veins on your legs. So as we age, this is an amazing thing to add into your beauty routine. Big breaths here. This is a very relaxing posture. It's going to calm the body, calm the nervous system. And again, this posture you can stay in for as long as feels comfortable in your body. We're gonna go ahead and move on here, coming out of this posture nice and slow, lifting the hips, removing our block, our pillow, or whatever we were using, and then just giving ourselves a nice big hug once more, and just starting to roll out that spine. And now we're gonna come into some more breathing. Now that we've gotten some movement in, we're going to calm it down once more with some breath. So once again, coming into a seated position and just maybe closing down the eyes or just softening that gaze. We're gonna bring one hand to the heart and one hand to the belly and just bow the chin here. We're gonna start taking some big breaths in and out of the nose. Maybe 4 seconds on that inhale, and maybe 5 seconds on that exhale. Breathing in and out of the nose, restricting back of throat. Bringing in some Ujjayi breath here from our yoga practice. A couple more rounds. And as we're breathing here, just meditating on a moment of gratitude here. So thinking of something that brings extreme joy into your life, maybe something that even brings a smile onto your face as you sit here and take these breaths. Maybe sending love to someone in your family, maybe sending love to somebody that's having a hard time, or maybe sending love to someone that we don't really like. It can be challenging, but it is a beautiful meditation practice. A few more rounds of breath, bringing in this gratitude, this joy. Once again, smiling on the face. And then taking that smile, this feeling you're cultivating right here, right now, out into the world with you for the rest of the day. I thank you again for joining me. My name is Sarah. I am the host of Mind, Body Kona. We love taking you through our accessible yoga postures and helping you access movement to your body and just reminding you to take a breath throughout the day. We hope to see you again soon. Aloha.